that might have just either gotten played this week or something that didn't get cast last week that they wanted to put in.
Yeah, seems like one of those things is the case.
Okay, so the bans are Bloom bans Balcony, both versions, and KCM bans Penop any 5 of 7 and New Art Veranda any 5 of 7. So Bloom just straight up bans Balcony, and KCM bans the more sniper friendly versions of both Penop and New Art Veranda.
Yeah, I guess KCM has decided that if he's gonna have to play on one of those maps, he's going to do it in a good position as Spy.
And Bloom starts out with a pick on Courtyard any 4 of 7. KCM picks up Pub any 3 of 5. Bloom picks Gallery any 4 of 8, another Gallery match. And KCM picks up Double Modern any 3 of 5.
That's an interesting set of maps. It'll be nice to see Gallery again.
Yeah, and
Double
potentially
Modern is a strange pick.
Yeah,
Just-
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, just like I don't see it a lot. It feels a lot different from basically any other map in the game, including like the other 3 of 5s and High Rise and Pub.
Yeah, and having Double Modern as a last map, if the last 2 rounds really matter, the last 2 games on Double Modern, it's also a map where psychological pressure can take a big part, because this whole game of did he real BB or did he fake the BB? Yeah, it's an interesting map and not played a lot, I think.
One other interesting thing to note about the picks is I don't know if it's generally agreed upon, but among the players that have been around for a long time, there's this idea that Courtyard 2, any 4 of 7, is what you pick when you think you are just better than your opponent. It's a bread and butter map. It's something that everybody has played. No one's going to get caught off guard playing Courtyard 2 of any 4 of 7. It's just what you pick when you think you're just solidly stronger than your opponent, or you think you want to split and you're okay with splitting sniper wins.
Yeah, it could be either of those things. I mean, it could potentially also just be that people like playing Courtyard 2 and they want to play it this match because they like playing it.
Nah, that's not possible.
I'm not trying to say there's not any strategy in it. Just that I feel like people gravitate towards that map in competitive, partly just because it's a map they like to play.
Yeah, I agree, but it's hard to tell what the players were actually thinking. We'll see though if their plan works out in a bit.
All right, let me load in the game. Okay, we are starting on Courtyard 2, and Bloom is starting off as Spy. Starting the game in 3, 2, 1, play.
Yeah, Bloom starts as a general here. Seems to be going to the CC where his selection target is placed. Doesn't flirt right away, but waits basically for his turn, for his selection target to stop talking. I think that says something about what he thinks about his opponent, that he might be able to catch interruptions in conversation circles.
Yeah, which is fair because I think KCM is fairly decently versed in stuff like conversation etiquette. And the interesting thing about that flirt also, though, is that it's a 33%, which could give us trouble in the future.
Yeah, and there was a white time ad by Bloom here, which doesn't seem to have been called.
Yeah, time ads are sort of exposed on a map like this, but also sometimes the sniper just isn't watching for them. You know, you forget about that clock up in the corner and just focus on the party.
Yeah, decent progress here with 84% on the flirt, and especially considering a time at has happened. But also against an opponent like KCM, a time at might actually backfire a little bit, because I think KCM is able to get a few lowlights during this extra time.
Yeah, that's an important thing to consider as well, that a player like KCM might just get closer to finding the spy the more time you give him the luck. But in any case, we've got, you know, the two easy missions done, seduce and contact. Pretty decent contact that didn't give off too many hard lowlights.
Yeah. There was a fingerprintable statue. Bloom decides against that one.
We go for the swap here, and we're out of the sniper's view, although the sniper does turn around just as we leave the statue, so KCM could infer that Bloom was at that
was
statue.
a bit suspicious there, back to statues, but didn't give Bloom a highlight.
And the green swap comes off, and we'll have to see, oh, KCM knows it was green.
Oh, wow.
But doesn't remember the last person who was at statues, or just missed Bloom being there.
Yeah, I think, yeah, pretty smart play by Bloom here, but also I think a bit unfortunate for KCM, because Bloom was just the person he didn't give a highlight to for being at statues. But then again, maybe Bloom's quick maneuver away from statues helped him to achieve that status.
Yeah, that was a good play by Bloom. I always like the thing in Courtyard where you take advantage of that statue and you do things behind the statue while your sniper's on the other side. And Bloom just barely managed to get away with that, so good for them.
Alrighty, stepping into KCM as Spy on Courtyard 2, starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
KCM also as the general here starts in a conversation circle with a double agent.
Yeah, unfortunately, really not a great time to be B. But we do have our, seduction target, yeah, comes almost right up to us. Not as close as they could have come.
Which is nice, because at some point you have to start to get those flirts done.
Yeah, and not having to chase after them can be a major, help with that.
KCM is getting offered a drink and white purloins.
We go for the white purloin here. That's
Bloom,
never usually good on
but
Courtyard.
I think Bloom didn't notice until now. And he gets a highlight for being close to Toby with a drink, I guess.
Yeah, although we did gulp it afterwards, which could be suspicious in its own way.
It could, yeah.
But the fact that Bloom caught that just a little bit late means that KCM's in a way better position than they could have been in. There's still a lot of suspects here for Bloom.
And that's true, but not a lot of progress for KCM until now, until that bug. And, well, it seems like it didn't get noticed, because KCM is still alive. And now things look a lot better. I think if he survives this statue visit, he will probably be fine.
Yeah, well, and it's worth it. The other purloin suspect was Orange Dress, who's also been the statue, so that can make it even harder for Bloom to shoot, or at least to decide who to shoot.
That's true, but just at this moment, Orange Dress did pretty good pathing and bouncing, which Bloom might have noticed.
We missed the conversation there, and we recovered pretty gracefully, considering.
Yeah, only 30 seconds on the clock.
Banana bread.
Oh, we go for the banana bread, but orange dress is out of conversation. And that is...
No, things are looking worse.
Banana
Yeah,
bread.
that's
Oh,
a
that
bit sad.
chasing was unfortunate. The fact that the double agent left the first time.
Yeah, really unfortunate here. KCM had a really good setup after that bug. I mean, he got away with the white purloin. He got it seems like he got completely away with the bug there, and then to get shot for
Banana
those
bread.
softer missions is a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, they were in a pretty strong position all
Banana bread.
game, and you know, in some ways, I want to say that it was bad luck that lost them the
Banana
game,
bread.
because Bloom was not shooting after that first banana bread,
Yeah.
and the double agent left just as the banana bread came off.
And I think the plan was at first maybe to not even be V and finish on flirts, but the seduction target was moving a little bit too much, I guess. And then there just wasn't enough time left to finish flirts.
Man, I can't believe that BB didn't go off. Like, honestly, via the logs, it should have connected, because at 21.7, banana bread is uttered. 21.6, DA left the conversation.
Yeah,
Even
but I think he
according
was.
to the logs, it should be good.
But I think he left it is when he steps out, and maybe before he was already moving and walking, and maybe technically not in CC.
Well,
I
I think the other thing is that banana bread completes shortly after it's uttered. I think partially that has something to do with making sure snipers have a feel for the timing of when 10 seconds after the BB is, if they want to worry about how much time they have to shoot. So
Okay,
I can see it being that, you know, other than completed our separate events in the log. And unfortunately for KCM, you know, the double agent left at just the exact worst time.
And I think the log should be changed then, because I think that the banana bread utterance should be the connection point. That is really rough. That is I'm sure there have been closer BB splits maybe, but that's the closest that I've seen. I think that I've actually took the time to look at. That's bummer. All right. Anyway, stepping into the next map. So that's Bloom up 2-0. Actually, a pretty good spy play on both spies' parts on the on Courtyard 2.
Yeah, I mean, the white purloin didn't seem great at first, but they did manage to get away with it, partially because of the way they timed it with a sniper's laser. So, yeah, I mean, both those games were pretty well done as spy. But now we're going to see how Bloom performs as spy in Pub 3 of 5.
Alright, stepping into Pub 3 of 5, Bloom is spy. It's cut, swap, and purloin. I think pretty non-controversial. And starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, we see Bloom stepping into an innocent CC, assessing the situation. I'm sure he's aware that the ambassador just stepped to the bar. Maybe he wants to use that opportunity to get a fingerprint here.
Seems that he does. Standard cuts again of swap and purloin. Or wait, I guess not. This time we've got purloin cut instead of bug. So this is more the old way people used to do pub, and I suppose not entirely old, since people are still doing it this way. But I kind of like this better, in the sense of, you really are, as a spy, practically a lot more likely to get away with bug than purloin on this map. But at the same time, I can see the argument for purloin just taking up more of your sort of short-term memory, trying to remember who has delegates and who could delegate to who, and the way that can interfere with trying to track flirts and such.
Yeah, and again with Purloin as a mission activated, the sniper always has a mission where he knows, besides contact DA, that the spy can't have done it already. Yeah, and with bug, the sniper can always be paranoid about it and think he might have missed a bug.
Yeah, we got a fingerprint off the briefcase, but we did miss the first drink fingerprint, and I'm not sure what happened there. Actually, I wasn't paying enough attention. It's possible that the ambassador rejected the drink there and didn't put a fingerprint on it in the first place. But for whatever reason, despite taking that drink from Toby, we only have one fingerprint so far.
Yeah. But I'd say Bloom is still in a decent enough position to finish on missions here. He could finish Flirt and try to get another fingerprint. Yeah.
And we potentially have an opportunity for another drink fingerprint here, and we're going for it again.
The time is running short though. It seems like it should still work to get a drink and Flirt, but he depends on his seduction target to cooperate and stay in that convo.
Yeah, and it's going to be close,
to be
and
very
it's definitely
quickly,
going to have overtime.
Yeah.
But now
Okay.
we just get shot for the second fingerprint.
Yeah. Yeah, KCM was on top of that game as sniper. It was as far as I can tell, it was a pretty good spy game here. But yeah, I guess KCM just thought the spy was getting a little bit too much mission completion here with the 2 fingerprints. Yeah, and pretty good sniper game.
Yeah, well done from KCM for tracking that and for being on top of Bloom in general.
Alrighty, stepping into KCM as spy on Pub NE305. The same mission setup as well, cutting swap and purloin. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
KCM as Alice on the same map here, with the same mission layout. Ambassador seems to be stepping to statues, if I've seen it correctly. Oh, he might be getting a drink. The seduction target is kind enough to step next to the spy here, which allows KCM to get a Flirt of 48%.
Yeah, in the meantime, Bloom was really worried about Kane bugging the ambassador at the statue there, and they were all zoomed in on that and such, but nothing came of it.
Yeah, and KCM steps directly to that fingerprintable statue, which should get him quite some heat pretty early.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at this level, doing both fingerprint and inspect is pretty close to death. Unless the sniper is sure you haven't seduced yet.
Yeah,
but
you wouldn't.
Potentially KCM isn't even going for that second fingerprint. It just happened to have that one, and even potentially leaving that mission unfinished could in some way make the sniper more hesitant to shoot.
Yeah, that's true. Unfortunate here with oh no, he did get his Flirt off. He's now at 82%. decides to follow his seduction target, which is a kind of interesting move because it's a bit bold, and not sure if a sniper would actually think a spy would act like that necessarily.
So now the question is probably, are we going to go for fingerprint or double agent? We could also potentially get a bug, but that seems like quite a risk, and you'd have to get a good opportunity for it and such.
Yeah, the problem is it doesn't look that great for banana bread at the moment. The way the conversation circles are structured.
Yeah, the ambassador has set down the briefcase, so that's a potential opportunity. It looks like we want to go for double agent instead. Or no, we are picking up the briefcase from across the conversation circle. We get the fingerprint, and Bloom has not shot yet.
No, it looks like a pretty clean game for KCM. Very nice, and yeah, and again, not much to shoot for the sniper here on such a soft tail heavy layout. So either the sniper is on top of all the fingerprints and decides to shoot for fingerprint and inspect, or probably Bloom missed one fingerprint here. I would the first fingerprint probably I would suspect.
Yeah, that's possible. It could also be that for some reason Bloom didn't think KCM was done with Seduce and wanted to be really patient as far as that goes.
Yeah, that's a possibility as well.
Bloom says in the chat, I think if I had another 3 seconds to think about it, I would have shot. Which is fair. Sometimes you get, sort of paralyzed at the end of the game, not wanting to commit to shooting and potentially hitting a civilian. And not having enough time to make the decision with the 10-second countdown clock.
Yeah, and we have a nice scoreline at the moment here with 2 for each at the moment, so it could still go either way, and we are now stepping onto gallery to see if anyone can grab a lead here.
Okay, stepping to gallery, any 4 of 8 with Bloom on the spy. Starting on 3, 2, 1, go.
Bloom decides to follow his seduction target to red bookcase. Let's see if he does anything with that red book, if he takes it with him.
Well, even if we don't do anything with the book, we managed to pick up a flirt there, which could be all Bloom wants from this. And sometimes innocent interactions with books are nice, just because, I don't know, I feel like, especially if there wasn't even a flirt to be gotten out of that, I feel like spies tend to feel like they have to get something out of a visit to the bookshelves.
And yeah, what's interesting with KCM here as sniper, he didn't highlight for statue visits until now, so maybe he just doesn't highlight for early statue visits, I'm not sure, but
the
Bloom
bug
might
comes
have known
off,
that.
and that was visible between the other people in the conversation. And KCM was zoomed in on it too, but no shot or highlight yet, so we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, pretty good situation for Bloom at the moment here. Decides to do his second inspects, which might give him heat, but I think it's a smart decision. A late statue visits often will get you shot, and yeah.
I think that was mostly a shot for the bug. I think KCM was more on top of that and just didn't show his hand.
Yeah, exactly. It seemed a bit too would seem over eager if it wasn't at least for suspecting the bug before that.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you got away with the bug clean there, I think that would have been an ideal time to go to statues in that you've got your hard tell done. And so now if you get more heat, so what? As long as you manage to finish, flirt and contact without being too obvious, you should be all right. And yeah, I mean, another reason that would have been overeager if KCM didn't see the bug was contact hadn't even come off. So that was not likely to be Bloom's last mission unless something like a bug had happened.
Yeah, very good sniper play from KCM here. And yeah, we will see if Bloom can snipe just as well on the same map.
Alrighty, stepping into KCM as Spy in a 4 of 8 gallery, starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
KCM starting with a white purloin there at the painting.
The early purloin can be risky, but we took the drink, we gulped it, and we're out of there, and Bloom does not seem to have caught it.
Yeah.
Or Bloom certainly knows a purloin has happened at this point with all these highlights and lowlights.
Yeah, exactly. But I think he caught it just late enough to not connect KCM to it.
Indeed.
Of course, KCM is not sure about his suspicion level at the moment.
Yeah, but when you rush early and you don't get shot, you've kind of got to assume that you've got away clean, and even if you're wrong about that, you're probably dead either way.
Yeah.
So it's worth it to then go on and try to actually finish missions. Speaking of finishing missions, we get a bug, and that was very well blocked by the helpful SDA.
It was very neat. It was basically invisible. Alright, KCM certainly finishing missions right now, and you would think there can't go anything wrong now, basically. He just needs 15% on the flirt. And if there's if the double agent is in combo available for BB, then I don't see him getting shot.
Yeah, I mean, this is the second time in this set that KCM has 2 hard tells done and relatively little suspicion. And last time that didn't go well for him, but only because of some pretty terrible luck with the double agent. This time we have more time to finish up those missions anyway. We're about to, finish flirt here. And as long as we can get a banana bread within the next minute,
the double
we should be all
agent
right.
leaves the CC, which is unfortunate here. We'll see if he re-enters the other conversation circle.
He won't be able to join that one. Oh, I was going to say he wouldn't because the SCA was there, but the SCA just left. It looks like we may be carrying this book around as a backup plan. If the double agent doesn't get into conversation soon, we might just dump this into the red bookcase and finish missions that way.
Yeah, it seems like he's waiting for the double agent to decide where to go, and he really doesn't want to put this book back, but yeah, it seems like he has to now.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good move to take that book because the double agent turned out not to cooperate.
Exactly.
And transferring is certainly riskier, but it looks like he's getting away with it.
Yeah, very good spy game from KCM here. Got away with 3 hardtails on this map, which isn't that easy.
Alright, I'm calling that bug sick, which means we're taking a little diversion. Let me just get to the spot of the bug.
Yeah, I mean, the bug was really good. I mean, if you're a really good player as sniper, you maybe can catch that on balcony, but on gallery, a bug like that is basically invisible.
Yeah, but now we're going to the sick bug cam to watch this.
Yeah, can we get it from the sniper's perspective as well?
You know, all bugs have that head turn that if you're watching, you know, the way they're facing in conversation, you can potentially catch it that way. But on a map as big as Gallery, you're always going to be watching for the arm, and the arm itself is completely invisible.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you see that head turn, it might be that someone just interrupted, and you really have to watch the conversation really closely to really deduce a bug there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that sick bug gave KCM the lead on this map.
As much as I did like the bug in that map, I think you guys picked on that perfectly. It was a wonderful decision to have that. And actually, as you mentioned before, earlier on we had the discussion where Gallery is a deceptively large map. It doesn't have as much surface area as some other maps, but getting from conversation to conversation, I can't tell you how many times I've timed out chasing either seduction turret or DA to the far conversation, and I just can't get there in time.
Yeah, or like, you know, the double agent was going out towards the outside of the map, potentially going to join that outside conversation. But if KCM had chased the double agent and the double agent decided to go to windows instead, that could have just been the game.
Yeah, it was a really smart move, especially because Gallery is one of those maps that's known for double agents not always cooperating, and BB being not a given mission necessarily. So it was a really smart move.
Indeed.
Alright, moving on to the next map. So KCM picks up another win, and so he is up 4-2. Stepping into double modern and a 3 of 5, so no missions have to get cut. And I believe it is Bloom starting off as Spy first. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, Bloom playing as Boots here. Is still under AI control, which is an interesting decision.
Now we take control to pick up that flare.
And it's already has already gotten a highlight, which is, I mean, you have to say it's unfortunate because he did basically nothing until that point.
Yeah, it looks like it may have been for their positioning and conversation, even specifically close to their seduction target, but this time it was the AI that brought Bloom there and not Bloom himself.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part might... Oh, okay. He de-highlights them.
Yeah, it looked like that was just, you know, an initial hunch by KCM, and then nothing appeared to come of it, so took them off. And so far, nothing has been coming of Bloom's spy game in general. It looks like we might just be going for a timer flirt here. We do have a double agent in conversation.
Yeah, and it was a good situation for BB here because everyone was in combo, but I guess he didn't want to risk any additional suspicion by doing a real BB here, and maybe wants to keep the banana bread as a kind of distraction for later.
And of course, there is no SDA in Double Modern, so even though there are a lot of people in one of the conversations, you know, KCM knows exactly where the real banana bread is going to be.
Banana bread.
Yeah, exactly. Does hit the green BB here, so things are looking decent enough, but he has to either bug here or purloin or
Yeah, no time for fingerprint
Yeah.
this late in the game. And we go for the purloin.
Okay.
KCM's on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, with a green purloin, it might have worked there. So, yeah, sometimes you need those green tests when it really counts.
Yeah, I mean, even a green, it would have gone into overtime and potentially given the sniper at least a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
In fact, if it went all the way into pending, that could have been really bad for Bloom because, you know, if you know there hasn't been a green time ad and the overtime beeping only happens after like 0-0 has already passed and there's been some pending, you know that's a green purloin.
Yeah, that's true. But if there would have been some rejects before it as you said, it might have been a 50-50 or 1/3 chance then for the sniper. But yeah, KCM did really well to catch the purloin here. Was watching it at the right moment, keeping track of it. So
I
really
also
good.
it's really interesting the timing of the banana bread, because one of the things about the banana bread is on double modern. Obviously, people tend to say the meta is 2 banana breads, but one of the other interesting things about banana bread in this map is there's the really old axiom about banana breads, that is banana breads. If there's everyone's in conversation and it doesn't go off, and then later on everyone's still in conversation and it does go off, something changed. So I was wondering how Bloom was going to approach actually doing the banana bread, because he had a long series of time where nobody had moved at all, nobody had done anything. So banana bread at that moment in the game, to me, felt really fake. And I'm wondering if Bloom was intentionally doing that, because it seemed like the kind of thing where a spy could be in the other conversation circle without the DA in the conversation, just thinking, man, I need to introduce a shot, I'm going to fake. So the banana bread felt fake, which is probably why he didn't get a highlight. And then he might have been able to get away with something like a green purloin would have been great, because General had rejected right in front of him. And then KCM would have been in a tough spot, because if I was KCM, I would have thought it was a fake banana bread because of how long nothing had changed, and then a banana bread went off, which felt more like a fearful spy.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, it might be interesting to hear from Bloom why he decided to BB at that exact moment.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's he's in chat, so maybe he can tell us. But I'm wondering if that's the kind of idea, because so when I was watching, there was everybody's in conversation, and then basically General and Salmon Danger switched positions, and I was wondering, okay, this is a moment in which if you would like to make General seem very suspicious, you can banana bread right then. Or if you think that, I don't know, you could make Salmon Danger look like he's faking or something like that, you could do that. Because that was basically the only change in conversation for a really long time.
Yeah.
General had been back and forth in conversations for a while, and so he might have seemed pretty suspicious. He actually would have been a great person to have in the reject chain, and he was. So if, I don't know, I feel like if Bloom had hit that green, it was going to be a win. It was a really interesting play, though. Yeah, no. So Bloom is saying that he wanted to frame General in chat, and that would have been great. Even honestly, if let's say somebody a little bit taller was blocking Purloin, like and a little bit better angle, like if Papa Danger was a couple steps to the left, and he didn't quite clearly see that it was obviously a white, he might have shot in General just because he thought it was green.
Yeah, would be entirely possible. But I mean, you have to say it was KCM was pretty on top of this game, and it could have gone either way, of course. Here, but yeah, KCM decided the match for him on double modern.
All right, so we're stepping into another diamond. I believe this is from this week. It is Canadian Bacon versus Kletos, if I'm correct.
Yes, that's correct.
I'm actually interested in how Canadian Bacon and Kletos match up. Canadian Bacon is pretty good versus standard spies, but Kletos plays a little. It seems impolite to say erratically, but I think that's really going to help him in the spy role in this. He just does odd things sometimes, and every once in a while, odd things get you low lit from Bacon.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how they will do. Considering their play styles.
All right, hopping into the picks and bans. Kletos bans